Welcome back to What Would You Ask podcast. My next guest is the creator. I got to tell you, by the way, before I give her the intro, I think one of the, and I've only watched, my wife will tell you, I've only watched Shark Tank incessantly for the last 6 weeks. I mean, all day, all night. It's I mean, it's unbelievable. Probably one of the best products I've seen. And my kids are, my youngest is 10 and my oldest is 18. So they're a little out of this stage, but man, I wish I had that back in the day. She invented EZPZ, no mess, happy man. And let me tell you something. My kids threw stuff all over the kitchen. I mean, you get all my kids love grapes and fruit. They love fruit, but they would fire it and dump the thing. And when they were little, and then you get anything with sauce, applesauce. They loved applesauce, but they'd stick their hand, slide it off, and the dishes breaking. You don't have to worry about it with this. All in one silicone plate bowl combo. I mean, it was just with a smiley face on it to make it a dining experience with a positive spin on it a little bit. Sticks to any surface, which is, it's got to happen. Stack and serve, right? She serves in this. You'll remember when she walks out and she serves everybody. She's got 5 plates on top of each other and just handed them out. That's pretty cool.
I need to hire you.
What's that?
I said, I need to hire you. I'm like, gosh, it's been a while. I haven't been on, it's been years since I've been on the show, but I've been at trade shows lately. Thank you for the reminders. Awesome.
She appeared on ABC's hit show Shark Tank. She was season 7, episode 13. I'm not sure why we include the episode. I say that every time just to bother my guys in the back here. Lindsey, Laurain, welcome to What Would You Ask podcast.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So tell everybody the product you brought in. I wasn't kidding you either. I think it was one of the slickest thing you show the video of your kids, which is just, that's a great video before and after. It's so cool. But it was a really well done, well produced, manufactured piece. And I'll tell you my thoughts later about how I think they kind of, had a bad day that day, because I haven't seen guys get on or any of those guys go like that. What happened to so how did you develop this? And tell us about your background. And we didn't get any of those softball questions to start. It was right into numbers and right into patent and right into, and you're like,
this is my favorite interview I've ever done.
I just watched it. I've only watched this probably 12 times. So anyway, tell us about the product you brought in to the Shark Tank.
Actually, I have it right here. So
there you go.
Biomat. And to your point, and I could tell you a very funny story about the kids being messy in that video. And I appreciate your compliments. But yeah, we had 3 messy boys, and I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I don't think that maybe some of the stories you've been interviewing them. It was always my dream to have my own company. That was not how the company started. I was in corporate America, and really it developed out of having 3 messy boys. And then getting on Shark Tank, to your point, I assumed, so the mat, it does self-seal, so you can lift tables, and it's, people kind of stop and are taken back when you see that. So I assumed that's what the sharks would do. I thought they would come out and be lifting the table and just the normal reaction. And to your point, I went in with a high valuation, which I knew, but it was that was it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So we're going to run through. I want you to think of this interview as pre-Shark Tank, like what the audition process. What we do, Lindsey, is we announce who we have on the show, and then they fire through social media back questions. So these questions, you're going to get a Vinny from the Bronx question, that kind of thing. And we have memberships on our website, and those people get to have their name and their questions asked and answered. And so that's kind of how we do things. And how we've organized Shark Tank is everybody's really interested about the audition process and the different experiences that everybody went through. Some people auditioned one time. Some people were found out by the producers. Others had to apply many, many times. There was a couple who were over 6 times applying. And then the trip to LA and the 3, 4, 5 days you're there. What's that like? A lot of questions around that stuff. And then, of course, what happened in the tank, get you the behind the scenes stuff, or get them the behind the scenes stuff. And then we certainly want to find out the Shark Tank effect, what happened on the day to your website and hopefully your bank account on the day of the thing. And then what's going on today with EZPZ and how it's evolved and all of that stuff. Ready to go?
Yes, great.
James from Orlando, Florida says, how difficult was the audition process? How many times did you apply? And how long before you had to head out to LA?
So our story was we had launched, so we had the idea dinner. We launched 6 months after having that idea dinner. We were at a trade show, which is really, really quick. I don't know other people's stories. That's my personality. We go to the trade show and we're in the Invention Connection in Las Vegas it's called the ABC Kids Expo at that time. It's like the biggest US baby show. And we met with the producers who were walking the show. I didn't even know they had done that. I had always said, I'm sure like a lot of other entrepreneurs, it'd be great to get on Shark Tank. Wasn't on my mind. They ended up walking into our booth. And so I met with the producer, just like a handshake, here's my card. And then followed up with them after, I believe, or they followed up with us. I don't know how it went. And then they, said you should submit an application. So then we had to go through the formal process of filling out paper. I think at the time it was, I don't know if we wrote the applications or typed them, and then filled them out. And I think made a video at the same time, like a audition video. It's been a while. My memory is not great, terrible. Yeah. And so that was kind of my husband and I in the video, and it was a great video. I mean, we were, feeling good about that. And then, I don't know how or why I just ended up going out. I don't know, because I went out by myself. My husband wasn't out. And I think they had just wanted me to go out. I don't know why, because I'm just the inventor or whatever it was. So my husband really wasn't involved after we submitted, the application or the video. And then I don't know, I'm trying to think of when we heard back in the process, which is kind of weird again. So Shark Tank, and am I going too fast? I'm a fast talker.
No, you're good. You're good.
So a few things that aren't necessarily true, but this was how I thought about Shark Tank. I was so proud of what we had built and so excited that I didn't want to go on Shark Tank because I didn't want our success to be like attributed to like, they were on Shark Tank, that's how they made it. Like, which is not a good reason not to go on Shark Tank. That's like your ego being like, I don't want to be, like our success is because we've created a really good product and we have a great team and all of that. The other thing that was interesting and has evolved over time is we didn't necessarily need a ton of money and a ton of funding, which is why a lot of people go on Shark Tank. So we were self-funded and we still are self-funded to this day, which is very proud of.
That is excellent.
And thanks. And so, and I knew that getting people involved with money, especially money, changes everything. It changes the dynamic. So we went on Shark Tank really for like licensing opportunities. I was like, I don't know anything about licensing. Yeah. Now I do, right? And we can talk about what we've done after. And so Kevin O'Leary, if you watch you've watched enough episodes, he's the licensing king. And I also thought at that time we didn't have our pet company, so we now have a sister company called Ono for pets. And so I was like, what's the girl's name? Laurain. I was like, she could, do pets maybe. This is all, And so I was very honest with Shark Tank. I'm a very honest person, and I just said we don't need money. These are the opportunities. And then we kind of went back and forth. And so then I eventually, so you apply, and then I don't know if I don't remember how I found out to go to LA. I don't remember.
So you get out to LA. How long are you there? 3 days, 4 days? Do you remember? What are you doing all day?
No, I think it was just, the timing of, so much was happening in, I'll just try to frame up the audition and what was going on. Sure. In kind of easy peasy world. So we launched in 14, at the end of 14, at that trade show, and we were on Kickstarter. So we have this great Kickstarter campaign, which was fine. We raised $72,000. It was great. We go to that trade show. We get recognized. We meet with Bye Bye Baby and Nordstrom right off the gate, right?
Wow.
And so then in 2015, so a year later, we go to Germany, which is the world's largest baby show. And I think I said this in the episode.
You mentioned it on the show, yeah.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so the timing of how this all works out. So we go to Germany, right? This is a year after we launched. We are in Nordstrom though. So we launched in Nordstrom in July. We're in Germany. And our booth, like there's not a lot of innovation in the kids' baby space. It's crazy. You'd just be shocked. We have a 10 by 10 booth and there's mats all over the wall, just like this. Literally, we didn't pay anything. We sent mats. That was our whole booth design, was our own product, right?
That's cool.
There are lines at our booth. I mean, it was like, that timing, I can't even explain because I've never seen anything like it since it's happened. And all these CEOs of the biggest baby companies are coming up and talking about licensing. And it just was this overwhelmingly positive, crazy effect seeing people at the table. So I land from Germany, kind of coming off all of that, right? Where everyone is just wanting a piece of EZPZ. Like that's how to describe it.
Yep.
We land, we have 3 boys at the time. They're 2 years old. And we have 2-year-old identical twins and a 3-year-old. So I'm just trying to set the stage. And we are taking off. So I have the audition for Shark Tank. I think it was probably 4 days after I landed from Germany. But the timing was we already had a vacation planned in Michigan. And so I got home from Germany. Oh, and actually the story gets even crazier. When we landed from Germany, we were also up for a QuickBooks event. So it was a Super Bowl commercial. And we were so consumed with being on Shark Tank, right? Because I knew I was taping my episode in September. What I didn't even really pay attention to was like, oh my gosh, we're up for the Super Bowl commercial. I don't even know if Shark Tank is going to be on, but like we have a chance of winning a Super Bowl commercial if we won this contest. So when I landed from Germany, we had news folks. We had a warehouse in Colorado. And so the news channel was like, we're going to be meeting you at your warehouse. Can you meet us there at 4? And it's going to be all for this QuickBooks and the Super Bowl thing. And so I'm like, yes, my mom, I can drop the kids off on the way home from the airport to my mom's. I mean, I remember ironing my shirt out of the bag. We get to the warehouse. There's camera crews and everything. And I'm doing this interview, which I think it's like the local news. And Bill Rancic walks in the door, who, yes, do you know Bill Rancic?
Yeah, from Trump's thing. Well, he was TV too, but what was he on? He was on the
Apprentice.
Yeah, Apprentice. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm like obsessed with his wife, Juliana, from news. And I had like a crush on him at this. Now I don't anymore at all, just because he's just not, you know what I mean? But it was a really, so I'm talking and literally he walks in and it's all on camera too. And I'm like, oh my God, he's in our warehouse. And I'm like, and he's like, surprise, you're a finalist and good luck. It was just, so that happens, right? We're on doing all of that. I'm just kind of now telling you the high I'm on of like, this is crazy. We fly to Michigan the next day. I fly with my husband and our three kids to Traverse City. We meet his in-laws because we're from downstate Michigan. And I spend one night in Michigan, drop the kids off, and then I fly to LA to go tape Shark Tank by myself.
Oh, Jesus.
So Tammy, who is part of my friend from growing up and the COO and does a ton for EZPZ, was living in LA at the time. So she was there. God, I forgot all about this. Yeah, we like built a set and stuff. Oh my gosh.
You had to build your own set?
I'm sorry, I've not thought about this since really that time. I mean, it was over 4 years ago. So yeah, I think I got to LA and they picked me up from the airport and then I probably went straight to the hotel and then straight to, I think the set. Yeah. Do you do my memory is so bad.
I think from what I'm told, Lindsey, is you do the presentation in front of like 40 producers at one, like a run through. Did you do that?
Yes, it's all back to me. I mean, that's how impactful it was. I'm remembering it all. Yes. So we did that. So I probably landed, you're in like the van with people. So you kind of know who people are, but you're not allowed to talk about. I mean, this is kind of how I don't think we're even allowed to. And then we went to the set to do that. So I think that's exactly right. And that was, we built our own set. So it was like a white big thing. And then we were putting mats on and I was laying them all out till like midnight or something, I think. Yeah. And then getting them all, gluing them on and working with like the set people, you're on a set. And then, yeah, all the producers are at a table and you come out. And that's kind of how the whole thing they do. You know, it's just like, okay, then you have to get to the producers. And then, you know, tomorrow you'll hear if you're going to actually tape it. And so then I think I pitched to you walk out, you pitch, go back to the hotel. And I guess the next day they're like, okay, yeah, you're filming today.
And you're good to go.
Yeah.
So you get to the studio on the day of the pitch. You've practiced this pitch. You've worked it out in front of producers. They told you a little help, maybe add this, say this, don't say that. Maybe they've tweaked it a little bit with you. I've heard the producers really want you to, I've heard some war stories, but I've mostly heard the producers have been very helpful and really want you guys to close a deal. Were you that kind of producers, or did you get some nasty one?
I had a great experience.
That's good.
From the producers. I love the producer of the show was great. And then they assigned me with 2 producers. They absolutely are trying to set you up for success.
That's good.
So, and they would warn you, you know, they were, my situation, it wasn't like I was prepared. I wasn't not prepared for it. It was just such a abrasive kind of, I was like, I could tell you it's raining gold right now and you would not like what I was going to say. You know what I mean? It was kind of that type of feeling. And that, you know, when I got off the set, I walked off and I was like, just don't cry, you know, and the producer came up to me. He's like, you did great, you know, like so they were great. They really were. So yeah, I had a great experience with them.
So you get on this tank. First of all, your presentation, the part you've practiced so much, was you knocked it out of the park. You came out smiling. You looked good. You had everything going. You got a great product behind you. And
I swear, like a half hour before, I could not remember. That's the weird thing. I don't know if other people have had.
Oh, they
kind of in this room all day.
Yeah.
I think, and just generally, because again, I don't want to get everybody in trouble for saying anything, but I think this is all high level. You know, you're just kind of in this room and you're just waiting, right, for people to do the pitch, and they've got tanks. You don't even know what's going on out there.
Yeah.
And you know, so you're so used to going over it, and you know, once you like literally, you just like have a blank where you're literally can't. It's not even like you don't know your name. You know what I mean? You're
right.
just.
Yeah.
I literally had a panic before. Like, oh my God, what if you get out there and you don't remember anything? It's like you've done it too much.
How about, did you walk out and have to do that, hit your spot and just stand there for a minute while they move the cameras and the lighting and all the sharks are in front of you? You don't say anything. Did they do that to you?
Yeah. And that was all. I just kind of, I mean, I just wasn't that fazed by it. I think the thing, I guess, and this is a good piece and a bad piece of me. I mean, I didn't think about logically. I'm sure a lot of people think like, oh, a lot of people are going to see this on TV. Like, what are my expressions going to look like? I look at some reruns or people clips, and that's just who I am, you know, and it's hard for me, especially when you're like, I'm shocked or whatever. And so getting, you know, just thinking about what people are going to say, I never thought about that at all. My dress, I never thought, you know, I got it like the day, again, people probably plan their outfits for like months. I got it like the weekend before at Nordstrom by myself. I took like a selfie to like 3 girls. I'm like, does this look good? You know, and someone said, is that a little short? And this is just like, I remember from elementary school, I kid you not, we had to put our hands to our side, like as a test to see where you're like.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it passes the test. It's, you know, I think it's okay.
Wait, do you get it? Were you getting internet people telling you that this dress was too short?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so this is how I'm skipping on forward to the episode when it airs, and I can go back if you want. But this is just, it's funny, but it's not funny. So we're having a party, we have a Shark Tank party, and we, you know, everyone's there and you're watching it with everybody. I mean, that's all just real.
Yeah.
And I, at this point, have no idea about my short being dragged, you know, my dress being too short at all.
Yeah.
And so we're in Colorado, and on the East Coast, it has aired, right? They're 2 hours ahead. So like we're all getting ready and everyone's like drinking and food, and like I don't know if it was tweets or like email messages were popping up, and it was literally all it was oh my, this girl forgot her pants. Where's her pants? This dress is too short. That's all I'm seeing with like hundreds of people. I don't know how many people were there. So I am kind of like panicking a little bit, you know, and then I'm like, okay, so my experience is I see the episode. I'm like, probably was. I didn't ever bend down to the mirror and I'm giving plates and just, the table. I didn't do any of that. So much shame on me, whatever.
I mean, I watched it a bunch of times. I didn't think it was too short. It's a shirt. It looks like a shirt, right? That's the design though. My wife wears that stuff.
I know.
That's funny though that if somebody says the lady forgot her pants. That's kind of
it gets worse. I mean, the story evolves from there is so we have the party, it ends. I don't think the episode is that terrible. I'm like, okay, I didn't see my crazy expressions and still, you're watching with tons of people.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think the dress is too short. So I go to bed being like, if my dress is too short, just kind of making, funny comments about my husband or whatever. Like, you're lucky.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and I get on social media. I'm not a big social media person. I am just even more anti. I mean, we have a great social media team, and for EZP,
yeah.
And probably why I get on Twitter or something, and it's not only your dress is too short, it is every mean thing you could ever imagine saying about a human being was said on Twitter in some shape or form or another. Like,
as it relates to the dress and just taking it further than that.
I can give you swear words like crazy, bitch, this. Mom, WHORE, are you high on drugs? Anything you can imagine. You look like you have any sort of medical disorder. You look like a man. I was like, can someone say I'm like good looking? Please just say you're pretty.
Oh, you had to have a bunch of that too, right?
No, I mean, there was not. So what ends up happening with that, it was my first kind of glimpse at bullying and cyber, and even being like a glimpse at what celebrities or anyone has to feel. It's a terrible feeling. It was, and what was the worst part is we weren't allowed to say anything about Shark Tank, and any of the deals. And so not only were people being mean, they were also just critiquing like stupid, whatever, you should have taken a deal, and emails and messages. And I can't even answer back. I mean, I don't even want to answer back, but I can't answer back. It's not that I should have. Yeah. So what gets me is I cried for a day. I mean, I cried, like I really did cry. And then I saw, this kind of sums up the whole thing, a tweet, and it said, this dumb, and I think it was dumb, WHORE, but they spelled dumb, DUMN. And I was like, I'm done. I can't believe I even gave you a day of my crying. And, but it is that's my ego and my personality of like remembering. That's when people, and we can talk about the effect today. No one really remembers me at trade shows or anything, but they'll be like, oh, I remember the Matt. So that's a good thing. So
let's talk, because I think your expressions, because I read some of the stuff. My crack staff supplies me with everything, and I dismiss about. I don't want to get prejudged of my opinions because I read 10 things that were in social media. I don't like to read that a lot. But what they did show me was some of the frozen facial pictures of you, and it's like, what, I didn't see that. Like, they must have stopped their tape and then took a picture, because you a couple times you turn your head, you look shocked to me, and I'll tell you about that. But let me go through the stuff in chronological order here.
I'm a talker.
No, you're fine. So you go out, and first of all, you came out with energy. You're smiling. I'm told that when you walk down that thing, this is pretty funny. I just interviewed what's his name? Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of the entrepreneurs, and I asked him, was there any misconceptions, things you see that we don't see on TV while you're there? And he said, yeah, when they open those first set of doors and I start walking, I stopped when they had to start it all over again. And I said, why? He said, because I turned around to the producer and said, are they going to turn on the music? The music. Dun, 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 dun. And he said, I started walking. I got 10 feet in. I didn't hear any music. So I turned around.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was pretty funny. But anyway, he said when they told him that we add the music later. He walks down the thing and he said they told him to keep walking because the next doors will open. He said, Nick, I got this close to the door. Like, I was almost walked into it and the door started opening. The last set of doors? He said,
are there two different sets? I thought there was just one.
No, the first one is you're just standing there, the camera's on, and you're standing still, and then they open and you start walking down the aisle. Maybe you didn't have that one, but the last one is definitely opens for you. Like, it opens and you walk right onto the.
Oh yeah, it's like the set. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. It's a little worrisome how bad my memory is. I mean, I guess I don't think about it all. Like, what was the set? But just in general, like,
well, maybe it could be the bullying and the abuse that you got put through during this whole thing too.
I guess I just don't think. I mean, I've never thought since I've walked down that hall since this conversation really what the hall was like.
Well, let's go right into the studio because here's where things change. You do a great presentation, great product. The videos look good. Your kids do I love EZPZ, and they say, "Oh, you must have paid him for that." It's just fun. Like if I'm you, I'm thinking right now, all right, this is good. Things are going good.
Totally.
And then you pass them out, and they're stacked, and you're still talking product. You threw some food in there because they're always hungry because they're sitting in there for 15 hours. Yeah. I'm thinking this girl's going home with $1 million, right? Like I'm thinking this good. Soon as you go back and turn around, Robert and Kevin say, well, we're going to talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the number. And they go right at you. Yeah. Here's the thing that came out though. And you said this right off the bat.